Hi guys, welcome back to the show, and this week's movie review, Jason Bourne. Now, if you are a Bourne fan, or maybe not even a Bourne fan, when you saw the trailer for this film, when you go and you see all Matt Damon hulked up and going left hand knock out some dude, which was awesome, Matt Damon, I will give you that. Totally awesome. It had to get you excited to go and see this film. So let's talk about what I thought about this film. Now, it's just like I mentioned before, we are going to bring back Matt Damon back as our Jason Bourne character. So if you weren't a fan of the Jeremy Renner character in the Bourne Legacy, be happy because now you have Matt Damon back on screen. But we also get Julia Stiles back from the original trilogy. She's back here with Jason Bourne. I'm not going to spoil what actually happens with them, but she is back on screen with Jason Bourne again. But we get newcomers this time. So this time we get Alicia Vikander and we get Tommy Lee Jones. And if you were like me, you had to be thinking the same thing when they announced the casting of Tommy Lee Jones for this film. Fugitive 3, Jason Bourne. I mean, it was a perfect opportunity for them to do a crossover film. We've been talking about other films or franchises crossing over. I totally expected that in this movie. A little sad I didn't get that, but still there were things that I did like and that I didn't like about this film. But let's talk about the plot. So the plot of this film, just like any other Jason Bourne plot, if you saw the original trilogy, Jason Bourne is now, after the original trilogy, looking at what he's doing with his life and how he's going on. But, you know, lo and behold, Julia Stiles comes and says, hey, I have some more information from you that you did not know. So now Jason Bourne is faced with this information, and he goes on a revenge plot because of what's in this information he just now learned. Jason Bourne of a plot as I've ever heard a plot be told to me, but we look at the original 3 films, and if you are a fan of those films, I mean, they were a combined story that told a beginning, middle, and end. This one kind of feels like I heard it already. The first Jason Bourne was Who Am I? The second Jason Bourne is What Am I? The third Jason Bourne is Leave Me the F Alone. So for us to hear that he is going to have some new information, kind of surprising that that's the plot that they set up for this particular film. So, but we'll talk about what I didn't like and what I did like and the goods and the bads. Let's start with the goods. The goods of this film are that even though I said that, you know, hey, that kind of mirrors what we had in the original trilogy and that story was already done, but they did do something a little different. Not the Tommy Lee Jones thing, which I wish they had done, but they did do something different as far as giving him an rival assassin. The original trilogy, he basically just kind of ran through a bunch of, you know, unnamed soldiers and the CIA head top guy at the time that was trying to capture him. In this film, he actually had somebody on level with him that he could actually kind of duke it out with, which I thought was pretty cool because now it kind of gave a more of a threat. Everybody was just somebody in his way to Jason Bourne trying to get his goal accomplished. This one, he actually had somebody to kind of combat. Other thing that I liked about this film is the action scenes. Always in the original trilogy, it was the biggest staple of that film, or those films, were the action, and that's not been left out in this film. Tons of more hand-on-hand combat fighting with Jason Bourne, but they've also got some cool action set pieces. One we got to see in the trailer, or at least a bit of it, this Las Vegas action scene, which is really, really cool. Probably the best part of the movie. Now, I'm going to stop there as far as the goods. Not that I didn't like this film, but we're going to go and talk about some things that I didn't like and the bads. Now, the bads of this film is that I did feel like I was watching something that I thought was already resolved in the first trilogy. For them to say, hey, we have more information, kind of feels like, why didn't he find that information? He had all the files and stuff to go through. Why is this new information? And kind of poignant, I mean, kind of important information, but you would figure he would have already known this. It almost felt like they just kind of threw it out there as a way to get him back in the franchise. But, you know, hey, if we want to see Matt Damon back as Jason Bourne, I guess you can kind of let that go. I was kind of iffy about it. It just kind of made me feel like, why? But the other thing that I didn't like about this film was a subplot about privacy, which I felt was a distraction in this film, where if we're going to focus on Matt Damon being back and Jason Bourne trying to do this revenge plot, focus on that. Don't get into other things that are going on. So that was part I really didn't get. And you know, for the faults that were the Bourne Legacy, especially the end, at least they were doing something different in the Bourne Legacy. This one kind of felt like I had seen this film already. Not that it was a bad film, you know, even good films that get, when they do sequels and it's basically the first film just with a little extra, it's kind of what they did. Those films are enjoyable. This film was enjoyable, especially for the action that's in it. And like I said, if you are a fan of the Bourne series originally, seeing Matt Damon back on screen is probably a welcome sight for you guys who hate Jeremy Renner. I don't dislike the Bourne Legacy. It has faults, but I don't dislike it. And like I said, it was a new thing for me. This one just kind of felt like we'd already covered this in the first trilogy, or should this portion that led him down this path should have been covered in the original trilogy. I don't know what they're going to do as far as a sequel to this film. Do they go back to Jeremy Renner? Are they going to continue on with Matt Damon? I don't know. So that's where I got left off in this film. It kind of seemed like it ended the franchise again. So I didn't see the point in it. But that's just me. Should you go see it? If you're a Jason Bourne fan, you've probably already seen it. If you're a fan of action, you'll probably want to go ahead and check this out. It's got a lot of action scenes, a lot of good fight scenes. Like I said, the Las Vegas scene was really, really cool. But those are reasons why you probably want to go ahead and see it. If you didn't see the original Jason Bourne film, start with them before you jump into this one, and then determine if you want to dive more into Jason Bourne. That's how I guess how you feel, and if you're not into action and you don't really care about this film. But that's all I got about this film this week. Make sure you guys tell me if you liked this film when you saw it, or if you're gonna go out and check it out. Put in the comments what you did and what you didn't like about it. If you disagree with me on Jeremy Renner, let me know down below. But always make sure you subscribe so that way you know about other videos that we have coming out, so that way you can get notifications and hear about everything that's going on. But that's all I got this week. Take care.